Boom, boom, and everything is on and live. You no longer have to be ready because the podcast is now started. I am Jay.
I am Ray.
And we are Mirthful Mysteries, here to present to you the lovely and exciting mysteries of this world. Or horrifying in the case of murders. But today is not a murder week. Today is a mystery week.
Yay! Woo!
Because of, I assume, the Sahara wind and other things, I myself am dying from allergies. So if I sound stuffy or if I sneeze, get over it.
Get over it. Tragic. Simply tragic.
We will be talking about the lost colony of Roanoke today. I'm sure everyone's excited.
This is one of the theories or one of the mysteries that, I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to it because I feel it's one of those mysteries where it makes me kind of genuinely upset, but that's just me.
Genuinely upset.
It does, because, never mind, we'll talk about it once we hit the theories.
We'll get there. But first, we have some uplifting news in these troubled times. And boy howdy, let me tell you, I had to scroll through a lot of news to find something that wasn't about an unnamed virus that shall not be named. Mm-hmm. But I found one, because life is still good, even in this chaos. And I found a lovely news article from Business Insider that says that Amazon is giving its employees more than $500 million in bonuses.
Oh.
Which is great.
Okay, Amazon. That's good.
I mean, Amazon does have a lot of money, and
True.
their workers have probably been working like mad because everyone is ordering off Amazon nowadays. No one wants to go to a store.
Especially with everyone in quarantine or at home. But I personally had bad experiences with Amazon.
Well, those workers who lost your microphone, they're getting bonuses. So
Woo!
Good for them.
Oh, gosh. Well, at least they're working hard.
How is Amazon giving them bonuses?
Yeah, how?
Well, I would assume that it's because their executives are taking a hit, or because they've just earned so much money that they've decided to be generous and not hog it all.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice of them.
Yeah. That's my assumption. Anyways, that's our uplifting news for the day. Essential workers getting a little bit of a pay increase to help them deal with all of this toughness that they're in. Good for them. And now, let's on to the main part of our program, the mystery. And the mirth, but today's mystery day. We are talking about the very exciting, the very mysterious, lost colony of Roanoke Island. And because this is such a professional show, I have gone through the issue of changing the images, depending on what I'm talking about. I hope everyone knows how much I appreciate them. There's a whole 5 images in this.
I actually need to check it out. Because I actually am not on our profile page. How scandalous am I?
You are very quiet to me, Rebecca.
Am I really quiet? How about if I get really close to the microphone?
I think you might... I need to turn up the give of your microphone.
Why are we having technical difficulties today, Jacob?
You've gotten quieter.
Did I really?
Oh, that's louder.
Jeez. So I have to speak with a very loud voice. I
Yeah.
have to scream into the microphone.
You have to speak with a voice.
Speak with a voice. Project.
Yes, we both went to acting school. We know how to speak, everyone. But let me explain to you Roanoke. I love Roanoke, the colony. This is a mystery that goes as far back as 1585. Which is wild to me. Still unsolved to this day. And the entire mystery centers around a colony that just effectively vanished. So let me give you some backstory on this. There are actually 2 Roanoke colonies in the same place. The first one is 1585 and was basically a fort that only served to aggravate Native Americans in that area. They had a series of conflicts, and they were driven out after a year, that first colony.
Sounds pretty typical.
Yeah. It's pretty typical, like, New World stuff. By the way, so everyone knows, Roanoke Island is located in a place for sure. I think it said North Carolina. Yep, Outer Banks of North Carolina, everyone. So that's where our story takes place today. This second colony that landed after the first one made a mess of the Native Americans is really the one history remembers, because after the governor of that colony left for a few years to get supplies in England, I'll go into that, when he returned, all of the colonists disappeared, making this colony the Lost Colony. Very spooky. This colony was led by a man named John White and landed on Roanoke Island in 1587. What's really wild is they didn't mean to land on this island. They landed to check up on, like, the state of the abandoned colony, and the flagship's pilot actually insisted that the colonists remain on this island. They were supposed to go further. They were supposed to establish the city of Raleigh in Chesapeake Bay. But they didn't. They were forced to stop on this island that was not ideal, and they were forced to settle here. Now, being forced to settle anywhere is not great. It's not fun. They had several touchy encounters with Native Americans. The Native Americans killed one of their people who went out to look for crabs. And then they accidentally killed a bunch of Native Americans who were... It was an accident. They meant to raid a Native American village.
Accidentally?
But
How
those...
Can you accidentally kill?
It was bad.
Sorry.
It was bad. What happened is they went to raid a village who was being annoying to them. Those villagers knew they were coming to raid, and so they left. When those villagers left, another Native American tribe went to that abandoned village to loot it because it was empty, and the colonists attacked the people looting the village. So they attacked the wrong Native Americans. Obviously not good for relations. Apparently,
No, not at all.
No. Apparently, John White did successfully manage to negotiate with these Native Americans, so they didn't wind up in all-out war. But despite that, the colony still needed supplies, and the colonists actually persuaded their governor, John White, to return to England to ask for supplies. He returned to England. He intended to bring supplies back to them in a year, in 1588, because boats were slow. But a little thing called the Anglo-Spanish War happened, and that delayed his return to Roanoke until 1590, a full 3 years after he left. Ridiculous. When he arrived, he found that the settlement he left had been fortified, but it had also been abandoned, and there was little evidence of war, famine, or any other possible reason for the colony's complete disappearance. The only clue was the word Croatoan found carved into the palisade, and Crow, C-R-O, was found. White interpreted this to mean the colonists had relocated to Croatoan Island, which was nearby, but before he could check in on this lead, rough seas and a lost anchor forced this rescue mission to return to England again. And to this day, the fate of approximately 115 colonists remains unknown, and even modern research has not produced enough archaeological evidence to solve the mystery. So what do you think, Rebecca? What do you think about this story? Do you have any main theories before I jump into my outlandish and then slightly realistic theories on what happened?
Okay, I'm really looking forward to those theories of yours. Okay, so I was kind of laughing already about it, but I love how they accidentally, I'm putting quotation marks right now, accidentally killed those you know, like oops and daisies, he ran into my knife
I
10
mean,
times.
hey, accidents
Um,
happen. This morning, I accidentally cooked a garlic bagel instead of a plain bagel. And apparently, the colonists accidentally killed Native Americans instead of, not murdering people. But
how do you do that? Anyway, I think that's going beyond the point. But okay.
yeah, we'll actually get into it
So, yeah.
later. The Native Americans may have made a similar mistake when it comes to the colonists.
Oh
Not
gosh.
with murder, but
We're in,
thinking, like, because the colonists thought one group of Native Americans was the same as this group of Native Americans, and the Native Americans may have done something similar with colonists. It's
oh
a
my
it's a theory.
gosh. Okay. It's a mess. That's what it
It
is. It's a
is a
mess. Oh,
mess.
so it's like payback. It's like you hurt my bros and I hurt your bros kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can believe that. Honestly, I would be fed up too. Like, why are there so many people coming into our land? Like, who told them to come? And yeah, I'll get pretty
Yeah.
mad. I'll get pretty mad.
It's upsetting. The first theory I have, though, has nothing to do with payback. A
Okay.
little to do with payback. So, I found this theory on the very reputable internet, and it's called the tree theory, and it
The tree
proposes,
theory?
yeah, it proposes that maybe Native American shamans and Native American witches turned all of the colonists into trees,
Oh
and then
my God, like
carved their name into
Pocahontas?
them.
Like with the grandmother.
Yeah, like in Pocahontas. Um, that's it.
Oh
That's
my
the theory.
goodness. Okay.
I think it has zero weight. I'll be honest. I saw a theory on maybe these people were just burned as witches, even though there was no evidence as fire, by Native Americans. And I think that theory
Right.
has more validity than tree theory. But it was so ridiculous, I had to throw it in.
Someone commented nice
Oh, yeah.
forest.
It looks like Arzareki likes the tree theory. So we have one vote for tree theory. That's not a good vote. That's not smart.
I think it's great. We
We
love
love
turning
tree
people into
theory.
trees. We need to do more of that. We need to bring more of that into some modern strategy now.
Just turn people into trees.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of people, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, good for the environment. Good for less people. I would think that if Native Americans had the power to turn colonists into trees, they would have done it in other colonies though as well.
true.
Not just this one.
Valid.
Um,
Point.
But maybe that's an option. And now
Yeah.
and just so everyone knows, the way I do my theories is I go from the ridiculous to the less ridiculous.
Okay.
So we started a
But they're
tree
all
theory.
ridiculous though. They're all ridiculous
They're all
though.
pretty bad. My last two theories are at least feasible.
Okay.
This theory is also vaguely feasible. I say vaguely. Take this with a grain of salt. This is the alien theory.
Oh gosh.
Don't laugh yet. Don't laugh yet.
Okay.
So, really, the only reason this theory exists is because of a map. This
Oh,
is the
yeah.
map on the screen. This is a map that John White himself made
Weird.
of the islands. You can see the island changed. Inland in this map where the colonists could have gone, part of the map was covered up. And underneath that cover up, just unearthed recently, there was this strange little symbol you can see in the bottom left-hand corner. That symbol, proponents of this theory claim is a spaceship. And that the reason it's hidden is... I can barely get through this without laughing. The reason it's hidden is because spaceship life for the colonists was better than colony life, and John White discovered this, not only discovered this, but then decided to just make it on a map and then after the fact cover it up. There's a lot of loops to go through here.
Okay.
A good reason that this theory has more weight than tree theory, at least, is because there was absolutely no trace of the colonists. And personally, I think maybe that cover-up on the map wasn't made by John White. I think maybe it was made by ye olde men in black. That's my theory. What do you think of that? Alien theory.
I don't even know what to say about it. So you're telling me they think that thingy, okay,
Yeah,
that little shape was aliens.
Yeah,
Like
just
they
like the Cowboys and Aliens movie.
did they generally okay, so was it who thought of this theory? Was it the crazy alien guy, that they made a meme out of? He's like, aliens. Like, was he the one's like, listen, like this is not a
No.
far-fetched idea. Like
It's-
this is real.
It's a generally, I mean, it's not a like accepted theory, but it's decently accepted because that location in the map, I believe, if my information was correct, they went there and there was nothing there.
Uh-huh.
So like normally it could be like a fort that he covered up, but they're like, he covered
Probably
it up
dead people.
and it's no longer there, so it must have moved like a ship.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Okay, so I will have to say it's weird that like I've also heard that the way he drew this map was fairly accurate, if not nearly accurate to how like it actually was geographically. That's weird because he would have to walk a good part of that land to figure everything out, but I feel like everything that he drew was like an educated guess.
He had a boat. He was sailing.
So he sailed through like all those little crooks and
Yeah,
crannies,
all
all
the
those little
rivers.
rivers. Like he did all of that. He did all that work.
Yeah, he was an explorer. Like, I think he made something like 3 or 4 journeys to this little area. None of them, like only the first 2 were to help his colonists. The other 2 were just for fun.
So like to entertain this idea that it was aliens, what if it was the aliens
He drew the
that
map.
told, like not drew the map, but showed him the land?
Ooh, could have been taken up in the spaceship and like mapped everything bird's eye view.
Exactly.
Could be. Alien
Could be.
theory, strong one.
I mean,
Strong theory. But not
Yeah.
as strong as the next theory.
Oh gosh. Okay, what's the next one?
All right. I hope you're ready for this. This
Hit me.
is the zombie theory. Don't laugh.
Oh my god.
Don't laugh.
Okay.
We had a comment a few comments ago that said more like they were eaten. This is the they were eaten theory. Hilariously, it has more weight than you would think. All right?
Okay. The plague? No.
I mean, yeah, zombie plague, basically. So at the site, there is archaeological evidence that mass cannibalism did occur. This is first point
that's
for zombie
believable.
theory.
Okay.
Also, allegedly, there are native reports that say the colonists died from a great war within their ranks. Like zombies.
Okay. Hold on, let me drink a water real quick. Hold on. I need to drink some water.
And there's more. There's more on the zombie
Okay.
theory. A famed zombie researcher, Andre Freeman, is quoted saying, "A sudden undead plague sweeping through the unprepared colony would quickly become a horrific, violent feast, leaving not a single man, woman, or child alive." So we got
they were
Andre on our
eating
side.
each other.
Yeah, they were eating each other like zombies. And according to, I think it's zombieresearch.com or something like that, zombies will decay within like 2 years of them being created. So the timeline fits. Yeah, I didn't hear of Andre Freeman until I researched this.
Great source.
Yeah, it's a great source. And apparently, according to this guy as well, the isolation of the colony, the long return time, and all of that would have caused the zombies to starve and rot back into the ground by the time the expedition got back.
Okay, so
I mean, better than tree theory.
this is actually they actually did eat them in the first one. Totally, I believe that. They did. I think, yeah, because you did mention that they were lacking resources. And when you lack resources, when you lack the utensils, sometimes
You eat people. No,
I mean, to put it simply,
I've definitely...
you kinda do.
I've been in my apartment, been out of pizza rolls, and I've started eyeing my roommates.
Listen, don't say that. Don't say that on this live podcast because you never know. Someone might report you.
I mean, look, if someone wants to report me for eating people, then I don't think I can live in this country anymore. America was founded on mass cannibalism.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
So yeah, zombie theory is also pretty ridiculous.
I like it.
It's a great theory. I love it. I love how there's so much thought that went into this. And yet there are actually historical things that are better reasons for this colony disappearing. But the important thing to remember is even though the next two theories I'm about to get into sound more realistic, they have still not been proven despite people investigating this colony for ages. And they should easily be provable. So the first real theory is they were attacked by either the Spanish or Native Americans.
Okay.
So, as I mentioned in the intro, the Anglo-Spanish War was going on. England was at war with Spain. And they both had colonies in the Americas. This was an isolated British colony, would have been an easy target. And like the zombie guy said, there was reports from Native Americans of a great war within the ranks of these colonists. I think maybe the Native Americans were like, all the settlers look the same. Or that the attackers were a returning supply ship. So I think that this, there's, and I have, this is what a pilgrim zombie would look like, everybody. I just wanted to see the minutes of research it took me to pull that.
That's cute. That's cute. We love that. Is that a head? What is that inside?
I think it was like a dead
brains?
undead turkey. This is the Spanish army currently. This is what was warring with Britain. They had tons of privateers in the area. Both England and Spain would have been very easy for a raid to take this colony off. What's weird about it?
Oh, no, I was gonna say, like, that theory is not even far-fetched because, I don't know, like, the Spanish had, like, a phase of, like, conquering everything. Like, from South America to even North America, they thought, you know what? Since we discovered boats, we're gonna take over everything, Like, everything is gonna be ours. So, to me, thinking that maybe a Spanish colony came in and was like, knock, knock, hello, hi, we're here to kill you and take this land. To me, that makes more sense than trees.
Of everything makes more sense than trees. What's weird about this theory is that there wasn't actually, other than the town being fortified, there wasn't signs of, like, a mass attack of, like, pirate ships coming in or the Spanish army landing. There wasn't any signs of that.
What would be the sign?
Like, scorch marks or, like, destroyed buildings. Sword slashes on the walls.
Yeah, you're right.
They didn't find any dead bodies. Like, other than modern times mass cannibalism pit. But at the time, they didn't
Maybe
find
they
any
ate
bodies. Another theory in this video, Americans attacked them. Which...
Oh, okay.
It makes the same amount of sense as the Spanish theory. That the previous colony was at war with these tribes. And even though John White said he had successful negotiations with these Native Americans, I think he might have exaggerated.
Mm.
So either of them could have just rolled up and wiped out this isolated colony. But the question remains, what happened to all the bodies? Could have eaten them?
Threw them in the ocean.
Yeah. John White, the governor, is the governor, to remind everyone who went to get supplies. Yeah. Could have eaten them. Could have thrown them in the ocean.
I was going to ask a stupid question.
We know they didn't bury them in any mass grave.
Wasn't there another John White? You know what? I'm not even going to ask it. Listen, history is not my subject, you know.
No, this is the same John White from earlier, the guy who started this colony, who went to get supplies. He did not report any dead bodies when he returned.
Wasn't he also, like, involved with the whole Pocahontas thing, too? Or is that another White? Just John Smith. I'm fucking
John
stupid.
Smith.
Ignore me. They're all the same. They all sound the same. Like, I mean, John, George. Like, come on. Like, can someone be different?
I mean, I'm about to talk about a John Lawson.
Oh, great. Tell me about this, John.
This is the next theory. So, this is what I believe to be the most accurate theory. But there is still an air of mystery about it. This is the theory that they were absorbed, actually, into a Native American tribe. The theory goes that these settlers, facing a harsh winter or what have you, sought shelter with the Native Americans on nearby Croatoan Island and were absorbed into the tribe. So that's why they would have written that on the palisade wall. This is also what John White, their governor, thought when he returned. He can never investigate this at the time, but there is slowly more evidence to support this. In the 1600s to middle 1700s, various other colonists claimed to have met gray-eyed Native Americans who themselves claimed to be from white settlers. Some of these reports would be a report from a guy named William Strachley, 1612. Yeah, it's weird. Europeans have some weird names sometimes.
Scratchley?
Yeah, I think that's actually his name. But yeah, he said that in his travels, he was an explorer type, he saw European two-story architecture in some Native American villagers. He also, at one time, reported that in a village around 1612, he saw a few European slaves in one of these villages who were made to beat copper. And so for everyone, 1612 would only be like 12 years after the return, 13 years after the colony, after John White left the colony. So it's a reasonable time frame if they were enslaved, which is the dark side of this theory. Spooky. Some other people who noticed some similarities between Europeans and Native Americans, French Huguenots, they were basically Protestants, in 1696 reported Native Americans with blonde hair and blue eyes.
No way.
They did.
Whoa.
And then good old John Lawson, 1709, actually met people from the Croatoan tribe who claimed that they were descended from the Roanoke colony.
So the missing colony just went with the Native Americans and was like, hey, like, let's be buddy-buddy. And then buddy-buddy became the birds and the bees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or they were enslaved.
Ooh, that's sad, though.
Yeah, that is sad. There is still even a problem with this theory. As great as this theory is, enslaved or taken in, makes sense. There is actually a DNA testing project of tribes of the area to try to find European ancestry in these modern Native Americans. And so far, that DNA testing has not been able to identify any Roanoke or European descendants.
Whoa.
Since modern DNA testing has yet to prove this theory, which should be easily proved.
Uh-huh.
The mystery of the island. Spooky, spooky.
I'm like, that's pretty, I'm like speechless. That's crazy. Okay. Like, they straight up found some of the tribe members having blonde hair and like colored eyes.
They reported
Bless
it in
you.
1696. Thank you.
That's freaking wild.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that seems like a really huge possibility.
But they don't have the DNA evidence.
Well, then how else would they get blonde hair and blue eyes? Like, that's not a recessive gene for Native Americans.
Nope. I think
They don't.
the Huguenots might have lied. They were French.
What do you mean?
So the blonde hair, blue eyes was found, reported in 1696. There were no other reports after that.
What?
Like, the three things I listed, they weren't, like, parts of this, like, massive narrative that unfolded. After the middle 1700s, there were no more reports of Native Americans who either claimed they were descended from white settlers or who looked like they were descended from white settlers. It was only in this time period.
And then it, like, stopped.
And then it stopped, yeah.
What? How? How does something like that just not happen anymore? Like, I mean, I would maybe believe that, like, oh, eventually, through generations, like, one of the kids is going to have dark hair and blue eyes, and then eventually that person's child is going to have just straight up dark hair and dark eyes. I can believe that, but, like, after that, like, all of a sudden, the gene pool was like, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. No child is going to have blonde hair and blue eyes anymore. We're just going to totally erase that. What?
It's spooky. Someone in the chat has put, we don't have Abraham Lincoln DNA evidence. We could get that. The way DNA evidence works is, like, vaguely what the identifiers in DNA from people from certain areas. So yeah, we can 100% go to modern Native Americans and test them to figure out if they have European looking DNA or identifiers with that. And so far they have not. Just like we could test us to figure out if we have Abe Lincoln in our family tree.
I mean, it would be so far off to tell, right? Like, I mean, like with 23andMe and like an Ancestry, like those type of things, like wouldn't it be too far away for it to be detected? If anything, it would be considered like unknown, or like they can't find the source of it.
Yeah. So it would probably either register as unknown or be a very slim chance of finding it. Given how much mystery-orientated people like the Roanoke story and how outlandish the theories are, I'm sure if they had gotten unknown DNA in these Native Americans, they would have considered it as slam dunk. They would have been like, unknown DNA, that's the settlers, we did it. The fact that they aren't saying that leads me to conclude that these Native Americans have been 100% Native American, not 99 or whatever, but 100%.
Okay, so tree theory is debunked.
Tree theory's looking really good right now. I'm a big fan of tree theory.
Oh my god. So no tree theory, no zombie, not even aliens. Listen, actually the aliens theory is looking a lot better than any of the other theories.
It sounds
because
really good.
It sounds great. I don't know. Like, I don't like this mystery because, like, it doesn't make sense. Like I said, and I think, what was it, our first podcast that we did? Like, in the first one, I was saying, listen, this John White dude killed everybody, dumped it in the ocean, and went back to Europe or wherever he's from and was just vibing for, like, 3 years. And he was like, all right, now that the war's over, let's go back. You know what I mean? And then he was like, oh no, where did all the people go? Like, like I feel like he did that.
Yeah, your fan theory was John White killed everyone.
Yes.
It killed 100 and something people.
Yes.
The worst serial killer of the decade, covered it up by running back to England.
Yes.
I mean,
Honestly, that is a far better fetched idea
than tree theory.
than the tree theory. I mean, honestly, the tree theory, that would be kind of freaking cool, though. Like, that's some, shit you see out of, like, Tinkerbell, like, with the Pixie Hollow, like, with those pixies who, like, work with flowers and natures, and they turn it, like, Greek mythology, or,
Yeah.
I like that. I like that idea. Because, I mean, we were talking about, like, summoning devils and demons and cult stuff, like, what, a couple weeks ago? Last week? I don't even remember. But
last week?
so why not trees?
That's
I
true.
think it was last week.
There
No.
was actually a theory
Was it the
for
first-
this settlement that they were all possessed by the devil collectively and like walked into the ocean.
Possible. If they were a cult.
I mean, it could have been.
I mean,
cult.
putting down crow on a tree seems kind of culty to me, don't you think?
Yeah, it is the first part for Croatoan.
Well-
Which is creepy in and of itself, but it's a location.
Like, someone... Okay, if they just put crow
Yeah.
and they didn't finish the entire word, something must have happened. Either he got distracted, or the person got distracted, or they got shot, killed, or he was getting chased by zombies, or he turned into a tree.
Or he turned into a tree. He turned into a tree, and then the Native Americans came by and carved that onto him. Tree theory. I will say the reason it's not completed is I've seen a modern recreation of this carving, and crow, that word, is a good like foot long by half a foot tall. It covers the whole tree. Whoever made that over merchandised with the tree.
What do you mean?
Like it took up the whole like chunk of the tree it was on. They didn't have enough room to carve Croatoan. They had enough room to carve crow.
Oh no, they did like the happy birthday poster when you put happy too big in letters.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
They overestimated how big their letters were.
They really did. But yeah, does anyone else in the chat, or Rebecca, do you have any more theories on what could have happened? It's still a mystery. No one knows. We have already mentioned could have been a cult, could have been demons, could have been aliens.
Could have been people turning into trees.
It could have been trees. Like no theory is too outlandish. I would love to hear or read what anyone in the chat thinks, having heard this story.
I'm just reeling at the idea that they overestimated how long Croatoan was. It was like, oh shit, we just have crows. Like, don't worry, that's cryptic enough. Let's go. Like,
Don't worry, that's good. He'll get the message. And then he did, and then just didn't go there.
he never came back.
Yeah.
Until 3 years later.
We have most likely got 8. All right, zombie theory. Yeah, there was reports of mass cannibalism.
It happens. I mean, some people, eat people, like, hey.
Oh. That's... maybe they did all set sail for Croatoan and died in a storm at sea. That's a possibility. I'm not sure if they had any ships left for them. I think they might have sent them all with their governor to get supplies. If they did, sunken ships
I like that.
in between these two islands have not been discovered. So it's a great theory. But like all these
I like
theories,
that one.
it's a great theory. I have no idea what that means.
Donor party?
Donor party doesn't clarify it.
What donor party?
I don't know. Maybe it's a blood donor party. Maybe they got eaten by vampires.
What?
Better than tree theory.
Honestly, the tree theory seems more likely than vampires.
How tree theories, I think, the most credible. All right.
Mm.
But yeah, that is the mystery of the lost colony, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. We're probably going to go into the rambles for a few minutes, where we just talk about whatever. But as
Are we gonna
far
talk about
as
what we're gonna do next week? Because I'm really excited for next week. Let's talk about next week.
They ate each other. Yeah, they could have eaten each other. For everyone, this is the end of the official mystery part of the show, and now we're just going to ramble. If you want to stay and join us, feel free. If not, we will see you all next week. And if I don't see you all, nothing will happen because I'm not motivated to do anything. But great.
I like how most of this podcast is us talking and.
Yeah, it's been allergy day today. Thank you all for staying with us.
Thank you.
Whoever's in the chat.
Thank you. Whoever.
I don't know. I wish I could see who was here, but I can't.
I know, me too. Me either.
But God, I have allergies. Hopefully it'll clear up next week.
I don't know, man. I've been injecting my nose with Flonase, like an addict. I'm just like, in the morning. It's so bad. I get so stuffy. My eyes get teary. It's terrible, and it's because of that stupid Saharan dust.
Oof. Yeah, I think this is because of the dogs. I went outside with the apartment I'm in has 5 dogs. With a house. And I forgot to take my allergy medicine when I first came out, and I think it's just stuck with me.
Oh no! What'd you take?
I took off-brand Benadryl.
Nice. How are you not drowsy? Bro, you know what I love about Benadryl? You take it and you go right to sleep.
I am a pill-popping god.
A pill-popping god?
It's okay. I think any of my parents in the chat have left. So I can talk about my excessive drug use and my cocaine pills.
With good guidance, not overdoing it.
You haven't lived until you've had a few pills of heroin.
Stop that.
That's the only drug. I know 3 drugs. I know weed, cocaine, and heroin. Oh, meth. There's nothing else.
Nothing else you take. What's good for allergies?
Cocaine
Weed.
would probably be pretty good for allergies.
Oh my god.
Oof.
No, man.
Alright, well, there's one person left.
I think that's me, because I'm still
Oh, no,
on.
it's my mom!
Is it?
Aw. It's okay. I talked to you about my cocaine addiction, Mom.
Stop that. Stop that.
Hey, this is a very professional stream, and I'll talk about what I desire. Boom, there's our main
I don't know if it's professional or unprofessional. Is it even morally right? Probably not.
Well, it's not morally bad.
But it's not morally good either.
I think morally neutral is a stream. Well, we have the uplifting part. The uplifting news got to be morally good.
We're just chaotic. That's what we are.
Chaotic good.
Chaotic good.
I've actually took
Robin Hoods.
alignment tests, and I'm actually lawful. I think neutral.
Really?
I think so.
I would take you for a chaotic neutral.
Same. No, I'm lawful because I like following rules. I just don't always like the rules.
What I got when I did one of those type of exams, I got both chaotic, good, and lawful neutral as well.
I love those tests. Those tests are great. We should take one of those tests on stream one day.
That'd be great. Are we gonna talk about our what do you call it? Our story that we were talking about, and how our characters mine it's a half a werewolf, but only turns it's like a regular dog.
Yeah.
You know? During the day, and then at night, it's a complete human being.
You're a person or a werewolf. Oh
I
man.
love that. And you're like a vampire hunter, and we hunt vampires together.
Yes. That's oh my word. I think that basically I've seen a stream that ends with like a story they've created, and just it's really just one person who it's their story is like a vegetable musical, and so one of the streamers
What?
hates it. Yeah, it's and the other loves it, and so the other streamer makes it and forces the other guy to watch it.
That's our dynamic.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun.
It is fun.
I love it. All right, well,
That's
we've
rambles.
we've rambled. There are 3 random people in chat. I don't know who's here, but I love you all.
I love that. Hello, everybody.
You 3 are my favorite people, and I wish you the best life. Please join us next week. What will we be talking about next week?
Randonautica.
Randonautica.
Yeah, it's an app where it sort of gives you random coordinates if you set your intentions. And there's a lot of stories. You can like check it out on Reddit, but there's a lot of crazy stories about it. Either that or I'm actually low key. I want to talk about some spooky stuff because Randonautica is pretty spooky.
So we're gonna
But
talk
I was thinking
about
ghost stories.
gonna talk about one of them for sure. There might also be some debate into simulation theory next week. Who knows? I'm gonna come prepared to fight
I forgot
it.
about that because Randonautica also talks about how we're able to go through different dimensions. Like I remember watching this one video. I don't know where I found it.
Wait,
but
don't
this
explain
girl...
all the thing. There's still one person in chat.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got too excited.
This is like what I did with Roanoke on our first stream. All right, but that's the stream for everyone. I want to hear about the story off stream
Oh, okay, definitely.
because I love it. But yeah, peace out. One person could be Rebecca. Who knows?
I left.
Oh, great. Well, one person. You're great, and we'll see you next week.
We love
Adios.
you. Bye. I like how you wave.